Today, we're going to be installing the Peco N-Gauge turntable kit and the Expo turntable motorizing set. But first, the burning question I'm sure you're asking if you watched last week's episode. Did I replace the pannier? Well, I'm not going to tell you this episode. You have to wait till next one. We've got things to do, so let's get on with this build. The kit comes in various parts, most of which will need to be painted. The first thing we need to do is put a primer onto everything. Primer is an undercoat. What it does is stop any paint we actually put onto it, the colours which you actually really want to see on this, from flaking off when we touch it. Now there's a lot of fumes from using this spray, so we're doing this outside. We want to make sure we get all of it. Actually, we don't really need the bottom, but parts of it, the side bit there, might be seen, so we do spray it. It won't make much difference. Now a little bit more of the kit. The only problem doing this is it actually sticks down, so we have to be careful. When we pull up, we could end up taking a bit of cardboard with us. So I'll let it dry a little while and then turn it over. As you can see, it has stuck down a little bit. Now these bits I would recommend not painting because they won't be seen and you'll need to glue them together. But to be honest, I didn't have many problems even though I'd actually painted them. So once it's dry, we brought it back in, put it on the table and started painting. So we're using acrylic paint. So this is the deck. I want to sort of make a wooden sort of looking deck. Obviously we're just sort of brown and lots of different shades, and the grain is going obviously from one side to the other, so we're constantly painting that way. We just keep layering it with different slight shades of brown and different colours. Just trying to make it look old. In the middle we'll put sort of a darker colour later on. Now, I paint it many times, including off camera, because yeah, pretty much every time you see it, it's going to be different. I let it dry a bit and then I have another go. I haven't really got any advice on how to paint this. It's basically just go for it. You want to get rid of the grey colour, really, at the beginning. So these are acrylic pens. So that's got to dry now. So I think this is a metal fence. It doesn't have to be, it could be wooden, but we're going to make it metal. Now I have black acrylic pens, but I also got black acrylic paints. I choose pen on this, which maybe it would have been easy to use the paint, but we're using paintbrush. See the camera struggling here, can't you? Again, we're just trying to make sure all of the grey is got rid of. So this does take ages. We're just going to show you. I'm just showing you the one really. It's the final bits of it now. Just doing the bottom parts. Again, I do have some rust paint. I'll probably put on there later. So at this point, it's done. I've also done the second one, and I'm doing these bits. So this is like the base shaft, these two bits here which we're painting. This is where it sits on in the middle and it turns on. Again, you don't really see it, but you don't really need to paint it. So this is the metal bit at the side, like the girder bit, which actually holds everything together. So the platform sits on this on both sides. So we're going for metal, obviously, sort of steel maybe, but we want it looking rusty, which is why it's sort of a greeny colour as well. Again, just use imagination. Imagine it's been painted and it's flaking off the paint. So it's going to take many sort of layers again. I'm only going to show you a couple of these, and let's keep doing it. But I'd overload it with paint a little bit here, so I'm really sort of dry painting it on there, just sort of trying to take off some of the paint. One thing, I think one tip I can actually at least give is don't put too much paint on at once. If it shows through, then let it dry and put another coat on, rather than actually trying to put too much paint on. I think they're meant to be wheels at the end, so unlike the 00 gauge ones, which really do have wheels, these sort of moulded, so just paint them black. That's what I've done. So the deck's dried off a bit. We've painted the other bits, so we're just adding some different colours in. We're using one brush to hold it. I'm still not sure in my mind what colour it's going to be in the end. So we'll try lining it up. I don't think this paintbrush is not thin enough. It looks smarmed on a little bit. A bit more red, perhaps. It sort of mixes into a sort of become a more browny colour. Maybe the deck's been painted at some point. Then that's gone now. Perhaps. But I still think that the middle one's got to be darker because that's where the soots and everything goes from the locos. I think it just comes down to personal taste. Just playing with it until you actually got it. Just as it's wood, grain goes one way. As long as you keep doing that, then it will look something like wood in the end. So now we're on to the pit. This is where everything sits in. Now my idea with this is there's concrete, a really dirty concrete on the bottom, and the edges there are brick. Now on the edges, just look inside just from the edge, you'll see a little indent, I suppose, goes around. That's meant to be a rail, I believe, where it sits on. As I say, on the girder parts, they have a moulded part of like a wheel that would sit on there. Now the way I'm painting this, and what I think about this is probably stupid, is that I'm going around in circles on the inside there. And yeah, that wouldn't really be, would it? It'd just be around where the rail is. It would be going around in circles. The rest of it would just be dirty because it's not actually sitting on any of it. It's not touching anything else. But anyway, yeah, that's the idea. That's why I'm going around in circles here. Absolutely pointless. Yeah, so the idea is this edge bit will eventually be red, but I think at this point I hadn't really grasped onto that idea. The reason why I changed it to red is because all my buildings are red. So I was going to make it just concrete like the rest of it, but a much lighter concrete. Yeah, but we change that later on. But again, we're just adding lots and lots of different layers on. Here you go. I've actually come up with the idea now. Let's paint it. This. Probably the dark actually works with it as an undercoat. I remember seeing one which is brick a long time ago on the outside. I was thinking on the inside there, on like the wall part, to actually use some brick paper, but I think actually at the end, I think the paint actually works reasonably well. It's quite small, so you don't really need to. Yeah, so just got to get the edge on the outside as well. We don't need the underpart because that won't be seen. Well, back onto the girders. They've dried, so we're just doing one by one. As one dries, we go back to another. Don't need to do the back of these at all because it just won't be seen. I think it probably affects the painting of it as well slightly. I mean the gluing of it later. Yeah, so we're trying to add some rust onto it. So it'll pick it out. Just make it look old, really. A bit like me. You look old like me. Now that's what's the grey pen. Remember, these are acrylics as well. Just trying to pick out different bits of it. Then, as I said, these are meant to be wheels, so I'm just making them sort of black. But actually, they wouldn't be black, would they? Thinking about it. My mind at that point was tyres are black, but it doesn't have tyres. Yeah, I'm using my finger just to smudge it a bit. Just pick out the odd bit here and there. Again, trying to add a little bit of rust on here. If we don't like it, we can always put another layer of black on top. It takes a second. Just really now just going through it, just make sure we should get everything which can potentially be seen. I think this brown's a little bit too... I put too much on now. So I will put another coat on after this. And just a little bit of black here and there to make it darker. Again, I want to make it look dirty, really. I don't want it looking new. So now it's time to start assembling it. This is the middle part. Everything sits on this. Good on me, get off the camera there. One thing you got to do, make sure you have to do, is actually, it's got to be fully in there. It cannot be an angle, which is not right now. Yeah, good on me. Right, yeah, that's better. Use that. On the camera, yeah. So put that around there. You can see it's at an angle, which means I have to take this apart later. So when you do it, if it's at an angle, cut a bit off there. Just to make sure it's actually completely flat. It has to be. Yeah, so that will sit on top of there. That's correct. Now the instructions say to put pins through there next. To do that, we need to put the rails in. So it's got a little bit of paint on, so we're just going to slowly guide it through all of it first. It's just little notches in there to hold the rails in. We don't want to break those. Got to be very, very careful. So just pushing it in, pushing it through. So there's two holes there on top. That's where the pins will go through. Now what these pins do, these give these rails actual electricity. It takes it through the centre part. Yeah, I'm on. Yeah, so we go all the way to there. Yeah, so they're the two holes where the pin's going to go through. Now the first problem I've got is I've lost one of the top bits. Frankly though, it doesn't matter. We're not using either top bit later on. So you put the bottom bit in, then a spring in, and pushes in the top bit on top. Yeah. So it goes through to there. So that will, as I say, deliver the electricity to this rail. So I try a little screw. I find a little screw to put on top of it. And it works, kind of. Now, one of the problems I've got later on is because it's an angle, it won't work that well. But anyway, yes, for now. We get the rails in. Yeah. We've got the pins in. And it will deliver electricity. Now, this will sit in the pit. We've got to bend these two bits here, these end bits, in like that. And also the other flap here we have to bend down, right from the edge there. Yep. We have two of these. Now that's one for positive and one for negative electricity. Or in our case, because it's digital, one for blue, one for white. That feeds through these holes. Now, when I was painting it, some of those holes had got filled in, so I used a knife to actually open those holes back up again. Now on step one, I said for the deck, make sure that centre part is completely stuck, properly in, and I said mine wasn't. Now this is the reason why. Those pins which go through it have to connect onto here. And if they're not vertical, one will probably connect onto it, one won't, and that's what happened. So I was getting an intermittent connection. So that meant I had to take it all apart again. If I knew what I know now, I would say I wouldn't follow the instructions. Because step one, I would put those bits on for the assembly, the 2 center bits. But step two, I wouldn't do the rails and the actual pins. I would do the girders. The girders got a fixing on the inside, which fits onto that center part. And if you get it all together properly, everything will be vertical both ways. It helps it. Now, I don't know why the instructions don't actually say that, but there's no mention of the girders at all in them. So I left it till last, and that was wrong. So that's my tip for you on this stage, is do the girders second. As we're using this unofficial motor kit for the turntable, we need to think of a way of actually connecting it. There isn't an official way of doing this, so we have to use our ingenuity. So the way I'm doing it, I'm going to glue a piece of wood onto the side here. And I leave that for a few hours. Just Yoo-hoo, super glue, anything, plastic glue basically. Yeah, you can see it moving, so basically I'm looking for something heavy to put onto it. There you go, it's still moved here. But yeah, these girders, right, initially you can see I put them right on the outside. That is wrong. Also, we just mentioned the girders a moment ago. That is not correct. Again, so when I reassemble this, the girders go right up to that center bit. There's an indentation on the bottom of the deck, which runs left to right, just above and below the square center part. That's where it's meant to go. No idea why I didn't actually think of it at the time, but there you go. You don't, do you, sometimes? Okay, see, I put it on the outside. It's not. It's inside. You can even see there's 2 plastic bits, which are my finger on right now, which are meant to go onto that square bit in the middle. This is why I said we'd done the order of this wrong. I do believe now we should have done the girders straight after doing that centerpiece, because you've got those pins on the girder, or the indentations, which are my thumbs on right now. They will help the centerpiece actually stay vertical and stay in place, because it can slip quite easily, especially that second one, the one on top. It's really, really important to make sure that it's vertical and stuck in properly. So yeah, as I said, we'll take this out off camera and actually do it again. So a few hours have gone by. This is all glued up now. So that's the cog which will go through that centerpiece. That's the engine. That engine will go connect onto the cog. Now the idea is this lollipop stick here. We will screw that into the top of the piece of wood. Now that will keep the this cog actually absolutely vertical. That's the idea. So the idea is good. The implementation of this is bad. Yeah, good. Right, yeah. So we screw that in. I don't want to go too far because we don't want to go through the actual turntable base there. Now, if you look at the hole, in the middle hole, you can see it's not center. So that's not worked at all. So we give up on that. We have another go. We get another piece of wood, a bit thicker this time. Make sure that's going to be kind of in line. Make sure the motor can actually fit there. That's quite important. This time I'm going to drill straight through. That way it can't actually, we can't get it wrong. Hopefully. We can, but I don't think we do. We screw this in, it's still vertical. Right. So we push that into there and it turns. Good. And hopefully, as I say, the motor will fit in there. Now I'm going to mark it out. Because we need to cut that rod. We need to push the rod as far in as possible. We've taken it out and we hacksaw it. This takes ages. But yeah, off camera, I've got it. Got the cob back onto it. And we push it back through again. Yeah. See, this is still after go 1. We haven't changed it yet, but you can see that it's not really turning that well. I was turning it then. So I take it apart, and a couple of goes later, getting the girders into place and doing it like I've actually said, making sure it's vertical, that centerpiece, it works fine. So now we can turn it properly. Right, now it actually turns, we can actually screw this motor on it. Yeah, so I'm glad we positioned it out properly earlier. Good, good, good. And in theory, it's all assembled. What we've got to do now is add some wires in. So we'll add some test wires in. And we connect it to a battery bank. That's 4 times AA batteries. And it works. So now it's time to install it. You know, you don't really see it on the footage, but I've got a little bit of track to the right side, which I use to actually determine where the hole's going to go. Now I've found a dish which is the same size as the inner bit of the turntable, so I've marked out using that. Obviously we just have a cardboard base here, so it's fairly simple to actually just cut through here. There we go. The only thing I was a bit worried about is cutting those leads. Now that wood there is going to get in the way, so it's going to mark out again. There's the track. Just mark out exactly where it is. Now I want those two, the markings on the side of the turntable to actually line up. So that means this extra board underneath has to go down here. So what I'm doing is cutting away some of the underbit of the cardboard down here, where that line is. And will it go? Yes, I think it will. A little bit more help to actually help it in. So I place the trap back in. You see I put cork under most of it, but not the end bit because it makes the track a little too high. It's actually underlay for laminate flooring I'm using there. It's about the right thickness. So I to be honest, I can't be bothered to go and get the other glue out. So we just use the Yoo-hoo here, the super glue. Put the track on. Just again, I've just used this to glue it down. It's just 2 bits of track. And after that, I put 2 little pins in, just to keep it in place. It'll take a couple of hours to actually, maybe an hour to actually fully dry. I try it a little too soon, it's still not working properly, but it will do later on. Yeah, you see I'm still having to push it down. Essentially I weight it down. We're now back at the desk. I need to solder in this the wires to the pins here. So this will be the track wire. 1 blue, 1 white. I actually get it the wrong way around. I thought I'd got it right, but we wire it in properly later on. But yeah, these wires are incorrect. So wire back into the motor again. And then solder it as well. Back at the table, we will wire in the this side of the connection. Oh, my hand's right in the way, but we'll do the white sides as well. Then we just need to thread it through the board and put it underneath. So we connect the track wires we've just seen to the turntable track wires, and then we're ready to test it. Now you'll notice the train's going very slowly here, and I'm not quite sure why. I thought it's because I've just put this loco on. But no, there's actually a problem with the points there. It's not sending power through correctly. We'll correct that later, but that's why it's going so slowly. Not really knowing what the issue is with the power there. I was wondering, is it the turntable causing it? Yeah, so we reverse it back. It's very, very slow here. Then suddenly, boom. So that tells us what the problem is. It's got to be there, surely. But to double check, we take off the turntable and actually dewire it. The white wire on the left hand so you can see it's dewired. But past the set of points, it's fast again. So it is something to do with those points. So I add an extra set of wires from this set of track here to the main line. And then that solves the problem. Train goes in, the train goes out. Then back in again. Right, so now's the time of truth. Will it actually turn it? Yes, but listen how loud that is. And how slow it is. It's not great. It works, but very, very slow and very, very loud. So next I decide to open up the gearbox for the turntable motor to see if we can actually speed it up and actually, well, turn down the volume a little bit. The photo you're looking at right now is I've already adjusted it slightly. Let's look at what we've got. We have the motor on the bottom right hand side. We have a series of cogs to the left of the motor, and then we have a pole with one cog on the left hand side and the black thing at the top, which is like a worm drive. So the left hand side cog, we have two cogs that we can visibly see in the middle below it. They're being used. The cogs in the middle above it I've already taken out. Now the less cogs we have between the motor and that worm drive, the faster it will go. So as I say, in the middle there's actually two you can see and two behind you can't. So there's actually 4 cogs. I try it, it's still too slow. So next I actually go completely opposite way. I take all the cogs out and I just have one cog between the motor and the output. As you can see, I've used a bit of tape on the right, on the pole at the bottom, just to hold it in. It works, but without the extra cogs to hold it in place, it moves a bit, and also it's a bit too fast. With 4 batteries, it's very, very fast. So the sweet spot, and I haven't got a photo of this, is to have 2 cogs in the middle. The motor, 2 cogs, and the output cog. And that works fine. Even better, you don't use 4 batteries, you just use 1. So next we need to wire the switch to control the turntable. The wiring diagrams above, as you can see, power in and power out go to the centre. Then we have to add a diagonal wire from red and black. So diagonal positive is top left to bottom right, and negative is bottom left to top right. And then the left hand side on the diagram is out to the motor. That just swaps the power around basically. So we are just quickly wiring it first. Then we put a bit of solder on it, then we take it to the board. Quite fiddly. Also very difficult to keep in focus. So we thread the black wire on here. I think, is that the last one? Yeah, I think it is. Oh, no, maybe not. I think that might be the last one. That's it. So we're going to tweezer them out slightly. A bit more space between them. Next we will solder each joint, a little bit of solder, then it's ready. We head back to the board, make a hole for the switch, and we put it in. We just got to screw it from the outside there. Now, I've also threaded the wire from the turntable underneath and to the back into the box. You can see the two wires to the right. So these wires, we just got wire the red to the red, the black to the black. And then this is the input, the power. As you can see, I've just got one battery now. I've got a wire which is just holding that single battery in. You see it works. So let's try for real. Reverse the train up. We switch the points over. One. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yep. Now, some of you won't like the speed of it, but to be honest, I do. It only takes a few seconds to actually turn them out, which I like. Plus, it's a lot quieter than it was, but it's still quite loud. It's a little less controllable than it was, but you can still line it up. Then off we go. So it's pretty easy now. Yeah, that's the one. In the end. You can imagine how it would be. It all works. I'm happy. And our job is done. So my thoughts on the Peco turntable. It's £25 for the turntable. It's £25 for the motor. It's 50 quid. New. They're okay. They're not great. Obviously, the motor's just a kit to fit for it, so you have to, work your own way out to actually fit it. But the instructions for the Peco turntable aren't fantastic. They certainly could be better, clearer. But, we got there, and it fits together and it works. Now, at the end of the day, that's what we wanted. We have a turntable, it works, it's not too loud, I'm happy. And on that note, that's going to be it. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please press the like button. See more, please subscribe. Please let Dino and Bell when you know what it does. See you next time. Bye.